So this is Ralf Weidenhammer, who is the boss of Weidenhammer Group. It's a company which is started by your father in 1955. Ralf, how did your father start the company off?
Well, actually, at the time, my father was still a student. He was 22 years old, and he found some advert in the newspaper where the mayor of the city said, looking for entrepreneur. And my father said, well, that's me. And so this mayor, he had an idle line which somebody left in some apartment for semi-manual manufacturing of composite cans. And so my father gave him some money, and by doing so he started a very, very small business, making a couple of hundreds of pounds turnover, which has grown to our nowadays size.
So who were his first clients?
Well, actually it was some former subsidiary of Lever Brothers, or nowadays Unilever.
Yes.
And I think amongst the first clients there was some company which produced fertilizers, and another one was Colgate-Palmolive.
Yeah.
But in very small scale. It sounds like big names and it sounds like big orders, but at these times it was probably 20,000 cans of this and 5,000 cans of something else.
Yes, I think though at the time it's just okay, it's 10 years after the war, but the distribution hasn't been sorted out. The roads are still a mess, and the buildings are still destroyed in many cases. And so yes, it's, these companies will be trying to start up from next to nothing.
At least when he told me his biggest so-called customer at that time, his office was in Hamburg. And nowadays it would be a day trip. At that time it was by train going overnight 10 hours to Hamburg, and then the next day discussion and negotiation, and then by overnight going back. Everything I think was just a lot slower and calmer than nowadays.
Yes. So when did your father leave you to take over from him?
Well, actually, my father, first of all, my father shared his responsibilities with a very good management officer starting from the 70s. So they both together really grew the company to a good size in the beginning of the 90s. And then in 95, I joined the board of directors and took over the responsibility, mostly with the responsibility about Pringles. And so then we split responsibility among us, and by 2005 then the partner or the other director retired, and then I restructured the management board by taking on board 3 new guys. But my father is still in the company every day, but since 95 he's not anymore involved in the operational or daily business.
Okay, and so the Pringles, that must have been the very beginning, 95. Have they been on the market that long?
It was 95, 96.
Yeah.
They joined the market, and we built the first factory in Belgium for Pringles. And so this was the time when I joined the management board.
Okay, so we see with Pringles, which is basically cardboard, isn't it? The container, or was it metallized then?
Well, we call it composite can.
Yeah.
Because it's a combination or composite of different materials. Obviously, yes, it's cardboard with some inner liner, aluminum inner liner inside for barrier and for the hygiene reason. And then we close it with a membrane or fresh seal for easy opening for the consumer. And we have some overcap plastic, which we produce as well ourselves. And the customer then fills through the bottom, and he closes as well with a metal end the bottom.
Yes. And are you the only manufacturer of the packaging for Pringles?
In Europe, yes. In the beginning of the production of Pringles, there was as well our biggest competition worldwide, Sunoco, who produced as well 1/3 of the demand of P&G. But since 2007, we took over the part of Sunoco's production, and now we are the sole supplier to Procter & Gamble for Pringles.
Okay, and you opened an office, a factory in Moscow.
Yes, or let's say...
Or Russia, rather.
Let's call it close to Russia. The people in Russia, of course, they call it a suburb, because it's 100 miles away.
Yes.
But whoever has been in Russia knows that such a distance means something, if it's okay, 3 hours at night, but it can be easily 6 or 8 hours driving to come to Vladimir, which is the city we are in. Which is close enough to Moscow, but enough away so that you really can manage to get people and to have some production location.
And how are things going there?
Slowly but steadily. We really like what we see there. So we have a small crew. And of course we need to develop the market because it's not really a composite can market so far. It's flexibles.
Yes.
And but it's profitable.
Yes.
Small figure, but we have fun with it. And as you might know, it's a joint venture with Greiner Packaging.
Yes.
So 50% is Greiner and 50% is Weidenhammer. Greiner was there already before we started, so they supplied the managerial know-how, and we are supplying the technology and the know-how and the machine.
Yes. And who are your main clients in Russia?
If I could pronounce the names,
okay.
I would be very happy. But well, I mean, amongst the Russian customers, for instance, we have Mars. As an international customer, a couple of customers.
Yes. Okay, very good. Thank you.